Hello, 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 everyone. It is Teresa from Teresa's Silhouette Spot for all things art, where I love sharing art from my heart and teaching creatives and crafters how to paint for fun and profit. Welcome to Crazy About Gingerbread. I want to thank Teri from the Robin's Nest and Melissa from Buckeye Creations and Jacque from Jacque Russel Creates for organizing this awesome collaboration with Gingerbread. I'm actually a painter, I said that, and I'm going to be painting this ceramic gingerbread house. It gets those lights like the vintage Christmas trees. It gets the plug in the bottom, and this is going to be really fun because it's a lot of fun colors. So I will get started with you guys. Let me pick the brush I want. I think it's going to be this one. I need to grab a couple of paper towels because I am an extremely messy painter, and we will get started. So how is everyone? Thank you for joining me. I'm going to use the bigger brush for the rooftop. What do you guys think so far? Hasn't this been great? I am just loving it. Now I'm not going to do the whole, I'm just doing the inside because I want to do snow on the rooftop there, and then snow on the edges, on the eaves, if you guys know what that is, the eave of the house. And I was thinking about actually doing all the base coating first because, I don't know, gingerbread is so brown. But I was like, nah, it's all right. I'll come on and paint the whole thing with you guys. So I like painting on different surfaces, wood, glass, canvas. I do canvas because it's easy to do, and it's easy to do for people, and it's easy to show. But honestly, I'd rather paint on anything else. I know we used to joke that I will paint anything that stands still long enough. And it's kind of true. It's probably why I'm such a messy painter. I'm always full of paint. My husband would be like, "What's on you?" And I'm like, "It's paint. It's always paint. It's just paint." So ceramics are fun to paint. This ceramic does not need a kiln or fire or special paint or anything like that. I'm just using regular acrylic paint to paint it. And then when it's completely dry, maybe in a day or two, I will clear coat it with a clear coat matte finish of my choice. So whatever you use or you want to use, or if you're into painting ceramics but you thought you couldn't because you needed a kiln, nope, you can paint ceramics with regular old acrylic paint. And then you can just go in, if you want, really, you don't even have to, and spray it with like a clear coat matte finish, or brush it, whatever you want, whatever easier. I am all about shortcuts. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. There are tons of painting tutorials on there and a lot of tips and tricks that I share with my peeps about painting. I like to use all the tools I can get my hands on to paint. If that means using a tracer or a stencil, I'm okay with that because it's what comes out at the end. And so I often use tracers or stencils for sizing and placement. I'll pick a stencil that I like, I'll pounce it on, and then I'll go back in and hand paint it. But I have the exact shape I want and the exact size and shape I want. So that's always helpful. If I had seen the other videos, we could talk about them, but I haven't yet. So I will just be painting my gingerbread here. I love doing these collaborations. I love supporting other painters and artists and creators because, you know what, we all have our own touch. We all have our own style, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm just adding in a little bit of shading in here under the eave. I'm going to go back in with the white later because that's going to be all full of snow. I did my roof. I did one side. Now I'm going to do this other side. I'm doing the same thing here. So where it comes up to the side, I'm going to have my dark paint. And then in the middle, I make it a little bit lighter. Honestly, once we get done painting in all our fun gingerbread candy and elements, you're not even going to see half of this. So that's why I really don't worry about it. And this is just a base coat. I will go in and add all the details. I'll probably use a much smaller brush for that. This I think is a 3/4. Oh no, this is number 16. Not that that means anything because in the painting world, paintbrushes are not universal. So what is a number 16 in one brand is not the same size as a number 16 in another brand. So we usually go by sizes instead, and this is probably almost 3/4 of an inch wide. So I'm just doing in all my brown here to begin with. The one thing I love, well, one other thing I love about painting on ceramic is that it dries so quick. So ceramic just totally sucks up the paint. So which is good because I like to paint fast. I like to get out my supplies, decide what I'm going to paint, and paint it. It's rare. There's actually one behind me that's not finished, but it's rare that I don't finish a painting in one seating. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm type A. I use a lot of tasks that I take on. I want to do start to finish, and it's the same way with my painting. I don't know. Who knows? But the beauty of painting with ceramics is it dries so fast. I won't have to get out a heat gun or anything when it's time to get around and start working on the candy and whatnot, because this will be totally dry. As soon as this is dry already. So I could be in there painting the white snow, or actually icing around if I wanted to, if I didn't have more to paint. So that's a really good thing about painting on ceramic. I love painting on glass, but glass is one of those things that you definitely have to wait for it to dry before you go in. I need a little bit more brown. Here it is. Before you go in and start adding in your second layer, your details, or whatever. I will paint my glass or my wine glasses with enamel paint, and you really want to make sure that your first coat of paint on wine glasses is completely dry before you start layering in. Now, I mentioned before, this gingerbread has all these holes in it because it has those really cool lights that go on the vintage, well, they're not vintage anymore, but you know what I'm talking about, the ceramic Christmas trees that were around back in the day, and now they've been back for a few years. So this has those little plastic lights. The plug goes in the bottom, and then it has those little plastic lights that go in the holes. A lot of people, what do you call it? Glue those in. I guess that's a personal preference. I'm making some of my gingerbread dark and some of it light. It just adds a little bit of dimension. I want it to be a little bit darker under the eaves, although I'm going to go back with the white. But we don't ever want anything that we paint to be just monochrome and one color. Okay, so I think I did everything that I'm going to do that is brown so far. All right, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add in everything that's going to be white or icing or snow. For this, I think I'm just going to paint all the white and the snow. Later on, I may go back in and add in a little fake snow. There are various ways and lots of products you can use to do that. But since I paint, I'm just going to paint in the white snow and then give it a little bit of like some highlight and shading. So my gingerbread really pops and has really fun colors on it. Okay. And this is snow. You don't have to worry about it being even. You don't want nice straight lines. It's a little bumpy already. It's going to be bumpier. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to it. So we have a little bit of contrast. Did under there, right? Yep. Hold it there. I'm not trying to make this line even here on the edge. And paint underneath. So if you are not subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button, please, and the bell so you will be notified next time I post a video. Lots of my videos come with pre-traced canvases if you order some of my kits, or my Zooms and my YouTube videos often have a free downloadable tracer. Like I said, I like to use all the tools I can, and I like to provide all the tools I can to my painters. If you subscribe or sign up for one of my Zoom classes, you will get a supply list and a tracer. I always mention that it is a suggested supply list because I want people to be creative and use the colors that they want to use, or color palette that they want to use. Maybe they have a favorite color. Maybe they're more of a blue person and not a green person, whatever it is. So I always say it's a suggested supply list. And then more often than not, there's a tracer and a video with my kits or a live Zoom. And if you sign up for one of my Zooms and you can't make it, that's okay, because I will send you the video. So you don't have to worry about not being available on that night. So I think I have everything white so far. I'm going to do the candy up in here white. And I got brown on it, but that's okay. My brown is totally dry. And I'm just going right over it with my white. I may do a second coat, we'll see. I should have put that on Do Not Disturb. Okay, there we go. Okay. I think this is good. I make this a little bit more white up here. One of my sides had a little bit more brown than the other. And then again, I just want to roughen up the edge. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with the chimney, so I'm just going to leave that there for now. Okay, now I'm going to get out my liner brush. I always dip my liner brush in a little bit of water, so I like it to be nice, and I don't like them when my brush is all like wonky. And let me see if I can find one. Let's see. Like kind of this one where it has like hair sticking out and stuff. No. So I'll pick up my liner brush, I'll twirl it in my paint, and then if I have to, I'll put it in a little bit of water to fix all like the loose hairs. Now you might be wondering why I started in the middle. I start in the middle so I know which way I will have room. Okay? I start in the middle and with that one, because then I won't run out of room going to the left and the right, and then I just work my way out. Now with these go in the middle of the ones you already just put, and everything should now be pretty good. It's just the first one that you have to worry about. I'm anchoring my little pinky to the side. Then I'm going to come down here. Okay? And then we're back to where we started. And then this one, I mean, we're talking about gingerbread, but if you wanted to be technical, this next row should line up with the first row. If it's not exact, it's totally okay. It's a gingerbread house. It's not a skyscraper. And again, I'm taking these and I'm just putting these in the middle of those. And then the one to the end, and then this one to the end. And then I have my bottom row. My bottom row will be a little bit hanging off. And I couldn't have planned this better if I tried. And there we have the one side of our roof. Let me turn it around. This side's going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to start right here at the bottom of the chimney. The chimney's in the middle. We're going to use the chimney as a starting point, and I'm going to go out from there. It's almost like my first line on the top. Okay? And then these, again, are going to split these. So we just have to make it an illusion here that we have whole ones. And when I say whole ones, I mean, you know, like whole roofing tiles. Okay, and then again, up here. See how I did that? And then when I'm done with my chimney and that area, it's a lot easier to just keep going. And then out. And then our last row again. we have our roof. Woohoo. Okay, now, I don't know what I should do with my chimney. I think I might do my chimney black. Let me get this little tiny brush. I'm going to start up here. Our chimney's going to have snow on it anyway, so I think it's okay if I do it black and then just add a little bit more extra snow to it. Maybe I'll even lighten it up and make a little bit of gray for some of the bricks that are up here. So I have been doing 12 days of Christmas arts and crafts on my Facebook page at Teresa's Silhouette Spot for all things art. And behind me is a couple of the projects that I've done. A couple of days. Today is actually day 4 of that. You can look for some of the videos here on my YouTube channel, or hop over and find what's not posted here yet. It's coming. But so is Christmas, right? And you will see what I've been working on. Now I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to put some white across some of the bricks. But like I said, it doesn't really matter because we're going to go in and we're going to add quite a bit of snow to all of this when we're done. Okay, I'm going to lay that down, and now we're going to get to the fun parts. Want to see what I have so far? So there is my brown base coat. Got a little white on there. And then all my white part for my snow. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to get out some of this really fun Bahama blue. Should get up. Oh, these colors are so cool. Alright, I want that little brush again. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the inside of the door. Oh, I just love this color. It's one of my favorite colors. And I just love how it looks on here against the brown. And we're going to go in and add some white for snow around the door. Nice edge there. Yep. Okay. All right. Then I want my liner brush again. There we go. I'm adding in a little white to the inside of the windows. But then I want it to look like there's a light on. So now I'm picking up a little bit of yellow and I'm adding a little bit of yellow over the white. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to go in, I'm going to put a base coat. Actually, my yellow and my white are mixing now, so maybe I don't need to do both. We'll see. Yes, I do. So I'll do all the white. I'll just do the white on this side too now while I have the white on my brush. And then I'm going to pick up some of this yellow and I'm going to just put a swish. I'm not going to cover up the whole square. I'm just putting a swish in there so it appears that the light is on. Okay? Oh, I got a little brown on there. I think, actually, now that I look at it, I think I missed a whole section of white back here. Let me fix that. Yes, I did. So who likes to paint? Who sticks their tongue out when they're painting, like me? Then I'm going to do a little bit extra white up here where I had too much brown. And I wanted my roof peaks to match on both sides. There we go, that's it. Okay, back to the fun part. All right, now I started with my door. Let me clean my brush. I'm going to add a little bit of white around my door. And now this part, which I'm adding the details, we want to be a little bit neater. This is what's going to be the finished part. The base coat didn't really matter because then we were going to be adding these details, and then we could, you know, just brush up whatever we kind of got a little wonky. But now that I'm in here, I want to make sure that I do these nice and neat. So I'm using a smaller brush, taking my time, getting in all the nooks and crannies. And I will always be turning my project. It's not just because this is ceramic. I always turn my project every which way. I will turn my canvas upside down. Whatever makes it easier for me to get the stroke in, that's what I will do. I rarely paint on an easel because I don't paint up and down like that. I use this easel behind me just for display. Okay, got the white in there. I'm going to give this white a second coat too so I can get over the brown from my base coat. Okay, I'm going to get my liner brush again. Okay, and I love this blue, so I'm going to do my blue, my window frames with this blue like I did the door. I'm just using my little liner brush, and I love the way this blue looks with the brown and the white too. So there we have the one window. Turn over to the back. Do the second window. You can grab these little ceramics at Michael's, or even sometimes the $1.25 tray has some little ceramic pieces to paint. The $1.25 tray, did you get that? I guess the dollar store had to go up at some point, right? Okay, got them. Go to this side. So yesterday, this has been, you know, it's that time of year. Everybody's busy doing their thing and stuff. My husband works at night. So yesterday, we had lunch before he left for work. And I had to hop on and do a video and do a live. And I had to change my shirt before I did that because I'm a messy painter. So when I come in here to my office and my craft room, I need to be in paint clothes. And so yesterday, right after we were done having lunch and he was getting ready to go to work, I whipped off my shirt and he's like, hey, what are you doing? What kind of live you got going on in there? And I was cracking up. Okay. So now my candy canes in the front could be red, but I don't want to use red. I'm going to use this fuchsia. Okay. So I was like, never you mind what kind of live I'm doing. You're going to work anyway. Don't you fret. So So I'm going in here and I'm painting the stripes on the white in the front and all around the corners. Okay. I could have done these red, but it's my gingerbread, so I'm going to do them in this fuchsia. And again, just this little corner up here. And these go on a little bit of a diagonal. And these fun colors. Okay, I did that. Now I'm going to do the same thing in the back. A little corner. And then each of these little diagonal lines. Okay. So what we have so far. Isn't that looking so cute? So cute. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get out my little liner brush though. I'm going to do the same colors for my swirly my swirly candy up here. I'm just doing every other section. I'm trying to not put my hand in paint. And there we go. So we have that candy done. And are what would be considered, I guess, candy canes for all of our corners. I'm doing the same thing here with the doors, with the glass and the doors, except this time I want to paint my trim around my door a different color. I think I'm going to go for a light pink now. It is a gingerbread house, right? It's supposed to be cute and colorful and like candy. And don't forget, this is acrylic paint. If you mess something up, just wait for it to dry and then go back and fix it. And that's it. Okay. Now I want to get out a couple little colors. I know it's not 3D, but I like the idea of like that I have candy along the top and along the sides. So I'm just going to put out a variety of colors. I have some purple, I have the blue I was using, I put out some lime green and the two pinks. And I'm going to get my little brush. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use a round brush now. And I'm just going to come up here and I'm just going to start painting in little circles as if we have gumdrop candies on the top of our gingerbread house. Okay. Pick us some green. Don't forget, like I said, if you make them too big, you can go back in and fix it. Some blue. I should figure out where I want them. I don't have to keep changing my colors and just do them everywhere. Now I'll get the light pink. And we have room for one more. I'll do purple again. I'm going to do the same thing on all my eaves here. Purple, purple. Put a big purple one up here in the middle. Another one down here. And then on this side, I think I'll stick one in the middle. Okay. Let me get some of my pink. Oh, sorry, off camera. And then this, I'm going to put this pink one on the end here. Oop. I'm going to go into my green. These colors are so fun, you guys. And you can go in here and use any color scheme, any pattern, any colors you want. Ooh. Got less hopping around now, right? I didn't do the back yet because I don't know what I'm going to do to the back. That's why I'm just concentrating on the sides and the front. Into my fuchsia. And now if I start doubling up, I'm not going to double up on my fuchsia because we have a lot of fuchsia going on. So where I have empty spaces, I'll pull out a different color to do. Like up here, I think I'll do another light pink. And maybe just because I'll do another light pink. So cute, you guys. All right, now I'm going to get out my liner brush and I'm going to get a little bit of white. I'm going to go back in and I want to put a little bit of highlight in each of my candies. It's all in the details, you guys. It's all in the details. If your paint is still a little wet, you can wait. Otherwise, you can keep going. Some of mine are wet, some of mine are dry. You know, it depends on when you put them on there. I'm just putting a little apostrophe stroke into all of my candies. Just want a little bit of highlight. If you pick up some color because your other one was wet, just wipe it off, wash it off, and then just get some nice fresh white going. Okay, then I want to put a little bit of white highlight on my windows. Oh, not blue, white. Okay, just a little bit on the frames there. And then this one. And the same in the front, even though it's pink. We still want to have some white highlight. Then I want a little bit of, just a little dimension to my door there with some white stripes. Okay. Now I'm going to get a brush that's practically dry. And I'm going to put out this little bit of this. It's a softer, like light blue. I need a place to hold it. And I just want to go in and I want to lightly put in a little bit of blue shine up and under my white, where my white meets my roof, just to give it a little blue, I guess, glare shining off the snow in that little crevice there. You know, sometimes on paintings it's snow but it really looks blue, but you know it's white, but your eye is kind of playing tricks on you. Well, that's what I'm doing in here. And I'm just using this little brush. I'm hardly getting any paint. Oh, that time I got too much. And it's just like a little bit of a scrubbing motion. I don't want full coverage in there, but just a little blue just up and under the eaves. I can lay this down now. Dry brush, and I'm pushing. Little tiny on the tips, and just a scrub. It's not a line, it's not dark. Okay. And again, in here, this time you want to make sure that your white and your whatever, if you did red or pink in here, is dry. I'm just going around and scrubbing it in. It's the tiniest little bit of paint I'm putting on my brush, and then I'm just rubbing it in here. I might want to go back and fix that pink a little bit there. Okay. Oh, and I missed up and under here. And then last but not least, I'm going to do the same thing around the bottom where it all meets. And I'm just going in very lightly and scrubbing in this blue all around here. Oops, off again. And you can add a little bit of dry brushing down here too. Just a little bit, like I wouldn't put too much, just to give your snow a little bit more color, just to make it have a little bit more definition. And literally my brush is practically dry and I'm just wiping the tiniest bit of snow on here. For this blue paint. Practically dry brush. Here a little bit too. Down the sides a little bit too. Okay. Now last but not least, I'm going to clean this off. I'm going to come up here to my chimney. I'm going to get some white, and in here, a little bit thick, I'm going to apply my white a little bit thick because I want it to look like it snowed and there's snow coming down the chimney. And then a little bit in the corner. And like I said, if you want to go now back over this and add some Mod Podge, some decoupage, some glue, and add fake snow, you totally can. But if you just wanted to leave it painted, you can too. I want this white in here now. Make it look like it got some snow pile up in there too. And there we go. There we go. Got a couple little dots of paint over here, which I'm going to fix. Now I could go back in, I can do all kinds of lattice work on here. I can add details to my backs and my fronts. But I think for the purpose of this, and I tend to be a little bit of a minimalist, that is going to be it. So, isn't that cute? Thank you, everyone. Thank you to Crazy About Gingerbread. Thank you to Teri from Robin's Nest and Melissa from Buckeye Gals, I think, and Jacque Russel. Have a great day, everyone.